Welcome back, everyone, to Sunshine Ladies Unraveling Tales, where a group of bookish friends take you on our reading journey. We bring you TBR recommendations, bookish interviews, and event shenanigans. On this episode, I'm joined by the lovely Reed and Stephanie. Today, we are beyond excited to welcome authors Annie and Eliza, aka the brilliant minds behind Sable Sorensen. Thank you so much for joining us. And for those of you who do not know Annie and Eliza yet, could you please tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you started writing?
Sure. Want me to go first, Eliza?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so hi, I'm Annie, half of Sable Sorensen. Eliza and I are friends who have known each other for more than a decade and have obviously had such a good time writing together for the past year and a half now, almost 2 years. But we both definitely started writing long before that. So I get to spoil some of our fun things. But Eliza, I know that we both wrote and read a lot of fan fiction when we were in high school
And middle school.
Yeah, middle school and high school. And I have done National Novel Writing Month a ton of times, never quite actually got anything to the point where it was finished enough to show anybody. Tried a bunch of times to write my own thing, and have always loved writing fantasy, but never quite got anything completely finished until I worked with Eliza. So I'll pass it to Eliza.
Yeah, I mean, as Annie said, I was also a big fan fiction reader and writer, middle school and high school, and I've just been writing my entire life, but I have never finished a book. I have ADHD and like get really distracted like halfway through stuff. Even with these books, Annie's like, and where's the ending? So it's really helpful to have a partner to help like right the ship and keep things moving in a forward direction. And yeah, so I just like, we both had time that we were able to devote to this creatively. And so we decided to jump in and write something together. And it's been a really fun adventure ever since.
So instead of a buddy read, you guys are doing a buddy write for accountability.
Totally.
Incredible.
That should be more common than it is.
It's really helpful. We both thrive on deadlines and like having somebody else who's expecting something from us. So it's like really helpful to know I really need to get this done so that Eliza has it.
Great partnership.
Love that. All right, ladies, we are going to play a game of FMK Direwolf Pack style. So you have Strategos, Deimos, Kryptos, and Phylax. Which pack are you joining? Two that you can ally with and avoid one. I know it's hard.
It is.
You want to go first on this one, Eliza?
Yeah. So if there's one that I would join, it would be Deimos, because I just like love their bloodthirsty nature. And I feel like all of the darkest moments of this book have unfortunately come from my mind. So I think I picked my own pack there. And then the two that I would ally with would be Strategos, because I think everybody needs to like pick a smart friend to help them guide their way, as I've done with Annie in this writing project, and Kryptos. I'm sorry to say Phylax would be the ones that would get left behind.
Yeah, let's see. For me, as Eliza alluded to, I would be a Strategos. I'm definitely like a very type A planner type of person. So I feel like that fits my personality pretty well. Eliza and I have both joked that we wish we were Kryptos because we feel like they're the really cool ones, but neither of us.
Totally.
So yeah, I feel like, again, sorry, Phylax, but I would probably have sort of brute force and like, ability of Deimos would be really helpful. So alas, but we love you too, Phylax.
Absolutely. So it's safe to say Direbound has been a smash hit and it's become super popular. Can you guys give us an insight into your collaboration and what went into the writing process for this series? How do you guys divide and conquer?
Yeah, so I'm happy to take that. So we work off really, really, really detailed outlines. And I feel like when you're working with a writing partner, that's something that you have to do because you need to make sure that you guys are on the same page, literally, and that, there's like a clear through line that's happening in the story. Because if you have one conception of a character and your writing partner has a totally different conception, things can end up strange. We've actually been dealing with this a little bit more in the second book, and just that we've added a lot more world stuff, and we've discovered that we have slightly different conceptions of how world stuff happens. So aligning from the very beginning is super critical. And so once we have this super detailed outline, it's like I go off and what we do actually first is we get together, we talk about the big picture, like what is the beginning, middle, end of this book, and we plot out the whole story. And then I go off and I write the outline, and it's usually like 2 to 3 pages per chapter of outline. So it's like super, super, super detailed. We know exactly what's happening. And then, yeah, it's really, it's a really detailed outline.
That's
There's like
awesome.
no room for deviation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Except
then,
when we're writing, of course, sometimes things go just
oh my God,
Yeah,
totally.
I'm sure.
The
I would
characters
say honestly
choose
the
what
best.
they want to do sometimes, and
They
you just have to
totally do.
listen.
Yes. And I would say like also half the time we have the outline and we reach the point where we're starting to write stuff and we're like, this is just not working. Throw it all out, start again. So there's a lot of going back and redoing stuff. But in terms of the actual writing, we take it and we both like to write slightly different things. So we kind of divide based on our skill sets. And then sometimes we divide on chapters too. So sometimes it's like, I'll take this sequence, you take that sequence. And sometimes it's like, I'll take this part of this chapter, you take that part of that chapter. So yeah, and then we write. And once we have it done, we do all of this in Google Docs. We've been talking about Google Docs so much. I feel like we're like spokespeople for it. But
Sponsor us.
it's an amazing tool. Seriously.
I have to say,
It's an
it's
amazing
very
tool for
seamless.
writing.
Your voice is
Yeah.
very seamless as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it's because we do it all on Google Docs and
Right.
we like reread each other. So we go through and we both reread and edit the book like 3-4 times, I think, before we could call a draft done. And leave each other comments along the way, like, I wrote this line and it's not working. Can you fix it when you go through? Or like, this whole sequence doesn't make any sense. Does it make sense to you? So that's how our process works.
Yeah, like I'm really bad at like the chapter outs, for example. So often I'll get like all the way to the very end of the chapter, and then I'm like, I don't know what the last like dramatic thing should be before the chapter ends. Like,
Right.
Eliza, help! So things like that.
So you have more
Yeah,
brain
playing-
power, but kind of twice the editing. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, like you'd think it would make things faster, and I do think maybe it makes the drafting faster, but also I think it does make things take longer too, because we both want to go through and make sure that, like, we're touching everything, and like really like massaging each other's words.
So this Direbound became popular, seems like overnight, and it has just taken with the bookish community. So what has that quick rise in popularity meant to both of you, and how are you enjoying it? What are some things that have changed in your lives ever since Direbound went crazy?
I would say one thing that is a big thing that's changed is that we're both focusing on this full time right now, which is really cool.
Yeah, so awesome.
Congratulations.
So that is huge joy that has come from the book doing so well. Honestly, I don't feel like either of us expected any of this to happen. So it's been pretty overwhelming, like obviously amazing, but also a little bit overwhelming and like crazy to figure out how to navigate all of it. But I will say, like, talking to readers like you all, and also, you know, people that we met when we did some of our events that our publisher put together, has been so incredible. And that has been probably one of the biggest things that has been amazing, like from the book getting popular, is being able to do stuff like this, or like to do an event and get to talk to people who love these characters and like know them just as much as we do, it feels like. And having that like connection is really cool.
I have like nothing to add other than, yes, I agree with all of that. It was like not, it was when we started working on this and we self-published it, it was like dream situation. We'll be able to like make this our full-time job someday. And like, it's the start of a series. So like maybe by the third book, which it's a trilogy, it will be the last book. Maybe by then it'll like have started to hit its stride. And then it just really like took off immediately. So it was really astounding. And I honestly feel like we're really blessed in having a publisher now that we're working with, because I don't know how we would have kept up with doing all the things that need to be done to promote the book and, obviously get into stores and all of that. And also write at the same time. It just like immediately got to be too busy for both of us.
Totally.
I
Does it
can
add any
see.
pressure for books 2 and 3 to have it so popular from the get-go?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So much pressure.
I think like writing book 2 has been a lot harder for a couple of reasons. One is just like, you hear this from everyone, but I think book 2s are like always harder because you're just like, there's so much that you've set up, but you're setting up more things. It's just really complicated and there's a lot going on there. But also definitely like hearing how people feel about certain aspects of like different characters and the plot, it puts more pressure. And also it's a little bit tricky sometimes to divide out like, okay, what do we really think should happen? Or like, what is our conception of this versus like what we're hearing from other people too.
Totally.
Do you have books 2 and 3 like completely plotted out? Like, how 3 is gonna wrap up and finish?
We know how it's going to end. We had originally plotted out the trilogy, and then after book 1 published, we decided to make some changes into what was going to happen in book 2, and that sort of like also impacted what we thought book 3 would be. So book 2 is we're in the middle of editing the third draft of it right now. We're almost done with that. So it is, we know what's happening. It took us a while to get it right. It like took quite a while to like make sure it was the right story.
It's been a lot of rewriting, but like I think it's gotten better every single time. So I'm really excited about where it's ended up.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And then book 3, we know like basically the ending of it. And then we have a lot of work to do in terms of figuring out everything else.
Got to figure out how to get from the end of book 2 to the end of book 3 now.
Exactly.
Just give yourself some grace during those hard moments where you're like, oh, how many times can I rewrite this paragraph?
So when you're not writing, can you tell us what you guys are currently reading and then what might be on your TBR?
Yeah, for sure. I can go first because I actually brought a visual aid because the one I'm reading right now is so pretty. So I am reading this book, Love's a Witch, and I love the like sprayed edges.
So pretty.
So pretty.
Yeah, so it's taking me a lot longer than it would normally because, as Eliza said, we're like in the middle of finishing our third draft of Furybound right now. So that's mostly what I've been doing. But it's a really fast read, and like I think as soon as we turn in this draft, which hopefully is going to be in the next couple days, it'll be like a day of reading to finish.
Yeah,
it's very fast and cute.
I literally just started last night To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast. This book is being released by the same publisher as us in the UK. And so I like see it on our Instagram all the time. And they've done a really good job of selling me on it. It's like a dystopian adult romance and love dystopian. It looks really fun and really good. And I've heard great things about it. So I'm very excited to see where it takes me. The first couple pages are very engaging.
Oh, we'll have to check them out. So we love to know what an author's ideal writing space looks like. And when you're collaborating, how do you share space, or what are some of your must-haves in your own individual spaces?
Yeah, so we are very different actually this way. So I really like going to a cafe or really like anywhere that I'm among people. Like sometimes I'll just go, like I'll go to the library sometimes or like sit outside where there's like tables that are sort of shared tables. Something about having like bustle around me really helps me focus. And also I feel like there's something about it. It's almost like convincing myself that I'm like going to the office or something, like they're going to a place with the purpose of like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to work on this chapter, actually like tricks my brain into getting into gear. So that's a really common thing for me. I do sometimes write in my house like late at night too. And like, if I'm just like really in the zone, then that can work. But otherwise I feel like my best writing definitely happens like out amongst people.
And I'm the exact opposite. I need nothing. I'm at the co-working space that I go to right now in like a private room because I just like need to crack through stuff and I need nobody around me. I need blank walls. I listen to like white noise. I really can't have the internet because as I mentioned, ADHD, I get like very distracted by stuff. So like I will like see a guy wearing a shirt and the shirt reminds me of this thing, which reminds me of that other thing. And then like 3 hours later, I'm like pulling myself out of Wikipedia. Like, what have I done? So I need to be like, I basically like need to be in prison in order to get like writing done. So yeah, but we don't really get to work together that often, but we do every once in a while like rent an office space to do like our plotting and our planning, and we get a big whiteboard. I feel like the whiteboard is a really critical need for both of us in order to like draw stuff out and write things down. And then we need chocolate, I think, also.
Yes.
Chocolate and coffee.
And coffee.
Chocolate,
and coffee,
and a giant whiteboard.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
So you both grew up loving books, as did we. So what have been some of your favorite inspirational stories over the years, and any authors that you look up to or were inspired by?
And there's one that we've talked about a lot that I'll mention again because it's definitely a huge influence on both of us. So the His Dark Materials trilogy by Philip Pullman, Golden Compass is the first one. That book and that series was huge for both of us when we were growing up, and definitely, I mean, there's so many amazing stories out there with like people who have like a bonded animal or like an animal that's sort of like, inextricably tied to them. And that is such a fun spin on it, where if you haven't read it, all of the humans in this world have like an animal who's sort of an external part of their soul, almost like acts a little bit like a conscience or a guide. And when you're a kid in that world, the animal can like change shape and be different animals. But then once you grow up, it sort of settles into an animal and that like reflects your personality a little bit. So we definitely both spent a lot of time thinking about like what would our animal be if we were living in that universe. I'll mention another one. There's so many, but one for me in particular is the Alana series by Tamara. So it's like an oldie, but such a goodie. If you haven't read it, it's a quartet, and it's about this woman who disguises herself as a man in order to go train to be a knight. And so there's lots of like themes of feminism and, like a woman operating in a man's world. But she's just like such a kick-ass character. And I loved her so much as a kid. I literally told Eliza this the other day for the first time. I had one of those backpacks where, you can like put your initials, like embroidered initials, if anybody remembers those. And instead of having my own initials, I actually got it to say Alana because I was so obsessed with this character. So yeah, it was like a next level obsession for me.
Yeah. Also, I mean, for me as well, Philip Pullman, that was like a huge, huge series for me growing up. My favorite book as a kid was The Phantom Tollbooth. I read it like once a year religiously. I think it was the first book that like really made me laugh and made me like think about how words are used. It made me think about language in like an entirely new way. And I feel like that's just been like a huge influence on me throughout my entire life. But I also like I was really into like soapy books, like soapy series books as a kid. So like I loved like the Sweet Valley books. I really loved Gossip Girl. There was this series called Fearless that was like about a girl who like doesn't have the gene for fear, and she's like running around New York City being like she's like a 16-year-old girl like working for the government. And so like I also feel like that type of stuff has been a huge influence on me, and that like I love dramatic twists, and I love like cliffhangers, and I love tropes, and it really is all stemming from that.
Yeah. I feel like fan fiction too, actually, just to throw that in again, has been such a big influence on part of it. And I feel like that was a big place that I went for sure to like find my romance fix. Like we both always loved romance. And that was like a huge place where I really discovered like how like big and amazing romances can feel, before I then realized, of course, this is a whole genre and you can go to the library and find books there as well.
As you said, you're animals. So which animals would you guys pick if you were Golden Compass?
I mean, wolves probably for both of us, but also another one that I like always thought about as a kid was otters. I love otters.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. And I love how they're comfortable like on land and in the water. So there's like a whole thing in that book about like, oh, what if you bond to a water animal? Then you like have to always be on the water. So anyway, I was like, water would be perfect.
I've gone really back and forth about what my animal would be. I think it would be something either like super cute, like a red panda that's like fun to look at all the time, or like something really vicious. Like I think like a bird of prey would be great. They can fly. That's super cool.
You should go with like honey badger.
Honey badger. That's
it's a honey badger.
They can be vicious and cute all at the same time.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right. So without spoilers, which scenes were some of your favorite to write? And were there any that you had to like compromise on? That kind of stand out, and then how do you handle like disagreements on certain topics?
Eliza, you want to go first?
Yeah, my favorites to write were like any, and continue to be my favorite things to write, like any of a big character dynamic moments. So like heated conversations between characters that are moving their relationship forward. That's always my favorite thing to write. I feel like we have not had any like serious disagreements about content. Usually if one of us feels like something isn't working, we're right about it. We just don't usually always have the answer as to why it's not working. And then we come to that together. But like if one of us can see that something is not quite fitting, it's like, there's a reason, right? Like if it was working, it would be working. What is your favorite thing to write, Annie?
I mean, I love writing action sequences. One of the first things that I worked on in the first book was the ascent. I worked on a couple chapters in a row there instead of us like splitting it back and forth. And that was probably one of the most fun things. Like, I feel like that was a moment for me where I was like, oh, I think that like this is going to work. Like, I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, what a great way to start the book. Now, so that you guys have understood your weaknesses a little bit more clearly as writers, I'm sure that those have now transgressed into strengths. And so do you find that you are stronger as a writer to potentially write individually, or do you guys plan to write more series together?
We've talked about this for sure. I feel like both of us are excited to keep working together for a little while longer at least. And we have like ideas of, should we be so lucky to continue after this trilogy, like what might come after this. But I think we both probably would like to try our hand at writing alone.
Sure.
Now that I like have been through the whole process beginning to end of writing a book, even though I wasn't writing all of it entirely myself, it feels like more like less of a scary mountain now, right? I've seen it be climbed, so I know how it goes.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Would you use your real names, or would you pick separate, I'm blanking on what they're called.
Pen names?
Pen name.
Names, yes.
I don't know. That's a great question. I feel like it maybe would depend like on the genre, whether I felt like it made sense.
Agreed.
The other thing that I think I could see myself writing is just like straight up epic fantasy. And I feel like there's a lot of like using initials in epic fantasy names. So I could see myself doing that maybe.
Is there a reason that you decided to write under a pen name this time rather than as co-authors?
Yeah, we when we started thinking about how we were going to like put the book out into the world, obviously there are two of us. We wanted to make sure that it read like a cohesive narrative to readers and that they weren't looking, because there's like a little bit of differences between our voices. We didn't want people like looking for the differences, because the book one is one POV. There's not multiple characters. We really wanted to make sure that it read cohesively, which is part of the reason why we chose the pen name. Yeah.
Okay. And we are looking forward to meeting you, Annie. You are going to be at Romantasy BookCon in Orlando in just a couple of weeks.
I know, it's so soon.
I know, I'm
Yeah.
so excited, as are we. What
very
are you
excited.
looking most forward to for the event or any future events that you guys may be attending?
Yeah, I mean, this one in particular, I've never been to one of these like big romantasy conferences before, which is kind of hard to believe since I'm like such a huge fan of this genre and like the two genres that make it up. But so like just doing some of the really classic moments, like I know there's like a ball on the weekends, and I feel like that's going to be really fun. But also meeting some of the people like you and other folks that we have met online in the fandom. I feel like there's, so many amazing people that we've like messaged with on Instagram, or people that we've talked to in our Discord that I'm going to get to meet in person. And so that's really exciting.
We need to join your Discord.
We do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You know, I might be. I'm debating it.
After you break my
Happening that
heart with the
weekend, and
ending.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
heart with the ending of this book, and then make it all better by coming to RBC.
Yes. Keep you posted.
Love it. All right. Can you ladies tell us anything that you're allowed to say that you are most excited for the readers to discover in Fury Bound, which is book 2?
Well, one thing that is very exciting is that there is going to be an additional POV in book 2. That has been like very challenging, but really fun to write for both of us. Eliza, what else can we tease?
So, the first book is set around the background of these bonding trials. I don't think it's like a huge spoiler to say that like the trials are done by the end of book 1. So there's no trials setting for book 2, but there's still quite a lot of action and quite a lot of violence. And I would say we upped the emotional violence in this book. So guard your hearts.
Get ready. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
man.
may or may not have both cried while working on this.
Spice level, same as what?
Oh, good question. Similar, I would say. Yeah. Definitely similar.
Delicious. It was beautifully written. All right, let's play a game of this or that quickly. Just answer coffee or tea,
Both.
Coffee.
braid edges, fan art,
Fan art.
Fan art.
dire wolves, vampires,
Direwolf.
ebook or audiobook,
Ooh.
I'm an ebook reader.
Ebook for me. Yeah.
Same.
keyboard or pen and paper.
Oh,
Keyboard.
I
for
use
me.
I use keyboard to draft and then pen and paper to edit.
Plus
Okay.
the whiteboard, of course. Can't forget that.
Oh, yeah.
Markers.
Physical strength or mental strength,
Ooh.
Mental.
Yeah, mental strength.
library or bookstore. I know, that's a
Both,
hard
but
one.
maybe bookstore.
I think maybe bookstore for me too.
Spicy or action scene.
I say spicy.
Okay, then I'll
Me?
say action to even us out.
Wait, you made it through. Easy peasy.
Now, of course, we've been teased for Fury Bound in book 3 of these trilogy and the potential for you guys to maybe go off on your own in the future. But is there anything else that is known or that you could tease us for in the future in Sable Sorensen?
I mean, great question. We did share, there's an amazing US like special edition hardcover of book 1 coming out, and we've shared some of the details about that, but there's another like really cool aspect of it that we have not been able to share yet. So that's one thing to look forward to.
Oh, okay.
Probably in the next couple
For
of weeks,
sure.
we'll be able to share that. And that edition is coming in March. So
Very nice.
that at least is a concrete thing.
Yes.
Or distant future.
Wait,
I don't
okay,
know.
sorry, quick question. Audiobook, same narrators?
I think so.
For Fury-
They're
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
They're so good.
Have you guys each
so
listened
good.
to the book? Have you listened to it?
So
A
I
bit.
listened to like 5 or 6 chapters, and
Mhm.
then Eliza and I both had this problem where we like hearing it read aloud. It was similar to like I'll be curious how I feel listening to this podcast later, because I get really embarrassed listening to recordings of my own voice, and I
Okay.
feel like listening to the audiobook felt a little similar. Of like it, like reading our words or hearing our words aloud felt like kind of difficult somehow.
Yeah. I had the exact same reaction. It was sort of like, oh, so I could have, but I've heard a lot of clips of it and have been very impressed by the work that they both did. It's been
They
really
both did
incredible.
such a good
Yes,
job.
they're
They're
amazing.
Yeah.
amazing.
They
Yeah.
really are incredible. And I don't have that reaction, by the way, at all. I have the opposite reaction.
So
Yeah, I
where
think there's
can
also, and I think that when you hear the book read aloud, it's hard to not have that feeling of like, oh, like if I could, maybe I would go back and revise that moment just like a little bit more. So yeah, I don't know.
The hardest part of a painting or any art piece is knowing when it's done. So it's really just the criteria of being an artist.
Yeah.
where can all of our listeners find you? On social media or the Discord handle, maybe?
Yeah, so we do have our Discord, which we mentioned. There's a link in our link tree, which you can find on our social media. So we're on Instagram and TikTok. And the Discord is really fun. We sometimes get to like share new art there ahead of time before we put it on our social media or things like that. So definitely encourage people to check that out.
We also have a newsletter.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, your Eliza. Substack. Yes, I just subscribed to it. Yes. Yes.
Signing up yesterday. Yes.
So yeah, and our Discord and our Substack, we make sure that like any really important updates go both places. So if you are more a fan of one type of thing than the other, then like either one is a great place to find us.
I actually just saw a beautiful edition by Fairy Loot. I may not be able to receive it in time.
I don't think it ships until the spring.
Okay. I'm obsessed with all the art, so I am looking forward to that.
They did such an amazing job. It's so
amazing. It really is.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, ladies, thank you both so very much for joining us today. Next up on Sunshine Ladies Unraveling Tales, we will chat with author Audrey Goldberg-Ruoff. So we'll see you guys next time.